Welcome to Sitting with Spirit, my loves. This is the section of the podcast where I literally sit with Spirit and our angels and give the messages for the collective. Take what resonates with you, and if it doesn't resonate, that's okay. Maybe it wasn't a message for you, but if you know who it might be for, please share it with them. So one of the first symbols, and I'm going to go through the messages from our angels first, but one of the first symbols they were showing me was a ring, and it looked like an engagement ring. And the message that I got around this is that we're in a moment to evaluate what we are committed to. And that sometimes we make these decisions about our life, our commitments, what we stay devoted to, and we don't question them, and we stay in them, and we fight for them no matter what. And that's not a bad thing to fight for your commitments, especially if they're still in alignment. But this is an invitation to really look at what are you committed to. And it's interesting too, because I also feel this message of like really wanting an engagement or wanting to move forward with that partnership or wanting a next level of commitment. And it kind of goes back to that earlier message, and we'll have to do a whole episode on this, of the allow, don't force. And so what are you, and what I feel intuitively is like, don't try to take a partner and push them into your vision of them. Really look at the partner that's in front of you, their capacity, how they're treating you now, and make sure that that is what you really want to commit to hitch your wagon to, for lack of a better word. And so I just get this message here to be super honest and real with yourself. They also were showing me a mountain, and when I see a mountain, it's my symbol for a new goal or a new journey. And it came hand in hand with the ring, and it feels like if we are so committed to this ring vision, we might miss other journeys that we're meant to go on, or other goals or other things that we're meant to accomplish. And when I saw this mountain, I felt like we were in a collective time of like goal setting, of choosing something new, of going on new journeys, of going on, and this really felt tied professionally as well, but it can be in any area of life. And I just got this feeling of like, it's time to be so true to ourselves about what our goals are, what we want to accomplish, what we want to do, and to climb the mountain. And so I get this feeling of this push-pull between where our soul wants to go and maybe what we are trying to force commitment to, and to be really brutally honest with what we are energetically tying ourselves to and what we subconsciously tell the universe we are worthy of. And then it switched to such a beautiful image of this cauldron. And I saw this like big black cauldron, and I felt such a sense of joy when I felt this. And basically the image that I got was like just throwing things of joy and love and power into the cauldron. And the cauldron is our life. It's our energetic stew that we are making. And the ingredients are the things that we love, that inspire us, that are resonant, that are connected with truth and power. And the message that I got here is that we don't need to know what the final outcome will be of this concoction. Our job is to throw the ingredients in to the best of our ability to make this joyful concoction, basically, which is a really funny message and way of saying it. But that's the feeling that I get. Like we're in this manifestation cauldron time period of a lot of change, and the cauldron is connected to what we're manifesting and what we're calling in. And think of it almost as if you were cooking or baking or brewing a potion, and instead of being like, I'm following these exact ingredients to make this pot roast, thinking more of it as, I'm going to add a dash of this, a dash of that, a serving of this, just whatever really resonates with you and lights you up, and then let it do its little extra something something, which is the magical element of the cauldron, and it will turn into what it needs to turn into. But we're responsible for the ingredients, and we're responsible for putting the ingredients in the cauldron, not just thinking about them, not just fantasizing about them, not just wishing for them, but putting the ingredients in the cauldron so that it can turn out as joyfully magical as your angels and guides want it to. So it just made me so happy, and it just said that this magical brew is greater than the sum of all of its parts. So we might think these are little things like, oh, okay, yeah, I really wanted to, take a drawing class, but what's that going to do to change my life? But what the message is that if you keep adding elements to the cauldron of manifestation of your life, the outcome is greater than the sum of its parts. There's an extra alchemical, magical process that happens when you give your angels momentum to work with. So keep feeding the cauldron of manifestation with joy, love, and power, and that's what will be brewed as well. So I loved that. And then really took a left turn here with the spirit that came through. I had a grandfather in spirit, and it felt like he was on the father's side of the family. He was showing me alcohol, and I felt depression, and I felt heaviness on him. And I felt like there was something here of like drinking, maybe running in that side of the family, and him kind of being a little bit ashamed of the drinking that he participated in. And I did feel like there was dementia with him. I don't know if I already said that, and memory loss. I also saw owls as a sign from him, and him sending you owls. And if you're not aware of that, wanting to set up that sign. I smelled cigarette smoke. I saw old records, and it felt like there was, I don't even know what this is, but like a gramophone or like one of those older things that maybe you crank. I don't even know, but I saw something like that, and I was like, I'm too young for this. I don't know what this is. And then I saw that he really loved cars, and I saw a tie, and I felt like he was proud of his job, or that his job was an area that he felt like he was accomplished in while he was here. I also felt this sense like he was a little shy to speak to me. So I don't know if he was a shy guy when he was here, or if maybe going to a medium or speaking to a medium was something that maybe he wouldn't line up first for. But I just got this feeling of him being a bit more behind the scenes. Like sometimes the spirits that end up connecting with me are the ones with big personalities and, they speak over everyone else. But with him, I felt this more reserved energy. I felt this heaviness on his heart and his chest, and I just got the feeling that he lived a really tough life and that he kept it all in. And it feels like there were also ways that he treated the women in his life that he wasn't proud of, and that there is an apology there around that. And I also felt like he had a daughter that he was apologizing to. And there's something there about the shame that he felt for how he acted when he was here, and that he was just pretty repressed, and that there was that connection to alcohol like I was seeing. And the feeling that I get is that he just wanted to come through with an apology. And I had a message from him for the collective, which is, it feels like in times of great change or uncertainty or intensity, we can sometimes numb with things like alcohol or cigarettes or other things. And his message is to keep a clear head, to be strategic. He wishes that he kept a clear head. He wishes that he was showing me that alcohol took him down lower and lower and lower and lower, and really co-created with his inner villain voice. My words, not his. He's saying his demons. And so I get the feeling that there's some call here, like in this time of great change and up level and growth and a new mountain that we're being called to climb, that it doesn't have to be alcohol, but anything that we use to avoid or numb or suppress ourselves. It's like asking you to just take some time away from those things. And maybe for some of you, it is a need to maybe drink a little bit less, or just come back to center with yourself to see what your truth is when you're just alone with yourself without anything else affecting your energy or your mood. So I'm not judging anybody for drinking, but this is that spirit's message is, I wish I would have seen more clearly, but it feels like he was kind of in his own stories, in his own pain, and that the alcohol only made it worse. The last thing that I was seeing, and this isn't from this spirit, was a tropical island. And so I'm not sure, if people are taking a trip to a tropical island, or, oh my goodness, a butterfly is like flying at my window right now as I'm saying this. I don't know if people are taking a trip to a tropical island or what, but there's something there about if you're taking a trip, and it goes, and this is going to be a specific message for only a few of you, but if you're taking a trip to a tropical island, this spirit's kind of piggybacking off the message of like, stay sober and tap into the magic of the land. Like use that, because like so often we go to these places and we kind of drink or do things and tap out a bit, but there's something there about the healing waters, the healing plants, the healing sands, and to stay present for it. And it feels like there's a spiritual alchemy within this island that wants to be called in. And that it's not a place to lose yourself, it's a place to find yourself. And so even if you have been thinking about taking a trip, I do get called to this island and sort of a unplugging, a call back to yourself and to find yourself, not lose yourself, like they said. So that is the messages. Those are the messages that came through. Claire, anything you want to add?
Well, I would love to go to a tropical island, so maybe this is my sign to go do that.
Yes.
But I really loved the image of the cauldron of our life. You know, I think lately I've been getting a little bogged down with all my responsibilities and my obligations to others, which are super joyful. I spent a lot of time with family recently, which I love, but you know, you can really feel at times that you're extending yourself to your obligations and the people in your life and kind of forget to be feeding the cauldron of your life with your joy and what lights you up. So that was really a great message for me to recenter on that now that some of the dust has fallen with all this family stuff. And now I can get back to what's lighting me up.
Yes. And I just love that visual of like, it's not up to us what we brew. It's up to us what we throw in the cauldron.
Yes.
And some things are in our control, other things aren't. But what is in our control to throw into the cauldron of this magical potion that is being brewed for our life?
Yes, I love that so, so much.
So beautiful. Well, I love you all so much. Thank you so much for tuning in to Magic Hour. We will see you next week.